At Katt Williams, who's getting exposed next? Hashtag Katt has the answers.
There's a third arrest that is coming. There's 2 that's already down. There's a raid that's about to go on. And on top of that, it's somebody that has something to do with the affidavit that I have already released. I am telling you, we know that it's coming. I knew it was coming when I made sure there was foreign and legal affidavits already ready 6 to 8 months ago. I'm telling you right now that they're about to grab them and they're about to announce it. When they announce it, we got a problem. There's ways that this is about to go. I think a lot of you guys are everybody's like, we're ready. We're ready until it's happening. And then everybody's like, well, I wasn't.
Name is Allison Gardner. Child Protective Services was involved in my trafficking. I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested. They're ducking and hiding because everybody knows that there was children there.
People built these tunnels. There's a lot. Elite celebrities, they go down there for parties underneath the Getty.
Denzel Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres. Do you want me to keep you going?
I don't want anybody's money.
Zell always told me we'd be at the parties. He said, you leave 30 minutes for the devil to get there.
I'm telling you right now that something is really wrong. Really wrong. The world.
Breaking developments are shaking up Hollywood, and comedian Katt Williams seems to have the inside scoop. Whispers of a third arrest are gaining momentum, adding to the 2 individuals already taken into custody. A high-stakes raid is reportedly on the horizon, and according to sources, it all ties back to a legal affidavit that surfaced months ago. Allison Tur, a key voice in this unfolding story, is sounding the alarm. She claims Child Protective Services was complicit in her trafficking ordeal. Her testimony paints a disturbing picture of a hidden underworld involving powerful names. The gravity of her allegations left many stunned, but the shockwaves are just beginning. Talk of tunnels beneath the Getty has resurfaced, with whispers of exclusive gatherings attended by some of the biggest celebrities. Names like Denzel Washington, Beyonce, and Ellen DeGeneres are being mentioned in connection to these underground parties.
Mentioned to the Allie Carter, this young lady who is making all of these allegations, accusations about Diddy, the Diddy parties, and several other people, including Denzel Washington, I think Ellen, and I think she mentions Oprah, and she just goes in, and it is a heart-wrenching thing to watch. Someone sent me a clip. I had no idea, never even heard of this woman, and I wound up getting this clip, and I listened to the whole thing. It's probably like 23 minutes of her sitting in a car. I believe her mother's next to her, and this young lady is in tears and expressing that she was, a victim of child trafficking. She was in foster care, and it was part of the whole Diddy trafficking, that whole thing, underground, literally underground. She mentioned there's tunnels, and I'm almost like, the way she spoke in this and the things that she said that's going on, and her fear of the authorities who are supposed to be reaching out and looking out for them now that Diddy's already been exposed and Diddy's been locked up. It's like there's fear because there's like hotlines that the victims are supposed to call, but I think she makes reference to the fact that those hotlines are really just gathering information and they're gonna get rid of these people. Like, it's really spooky.
One time he locked me in containers with his shipment of kids. There were kids in there that didn't speak English. There were kids that were sick and that were already dying. There were babies. There were babies that were 6 years old, and I'll never forget them just crying, and everybody was just staring at them. Everybody was just staring at each other. Nobody knew whether or not to move. I was freaked out. And I got up and I held her. And they opened the truck and they took her from me. Because they said she was already sick. And they killed her. Her name was Bailey. There are kids in there from Africa, from Mexico. We got to this spot right over the border. They went past these colorful houses, They turned down these dirt roads, and there was a bunch of trucks. And they divvied everybody out like retail. One person, she wouldn't stop crying, so they said that they would just send her off to somebody who was already sick, that had AIDS, that was gonna die soon, because she wouldn't shut up. My pimp smiled at me that whole time because I had straightened up my attitude. I begged for him to take me back. I begged for him to keep me. And I promised that I wouldn't tell the social workers again. I promised that I wouldn't say anything if he just took me with him. If I could go home. And he did. Me still being stupid, I tried to tell my social workers. I tried to tell them my boyfriend is 27 years old. He takes me to elite parties. He takes me to these things that I don't want to go to. And can you please help me? And they just documented him as a boyfriend. My social worker told me that maybe I needed to just talk to him. Maybe if I just did something right, or if not, just break up with him, that it would be okay. Eventually, after going to Elite in Simi Valley, California, escort services, we got married. He proposed to me on a boat one night. And I was so angry because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to deal with that. I was 15 years old, and I knew my adopted mom now. I knew her, and I was telling her I have a husband. And I didn't know what that meant. I just knew that he's not gonna kill me. So I'm married. And I was okay.
The accusations are jaw-dropping, and the world is on edge, waiting for the next revelation. Allie Carter was the first to break the silence, sending shock and disbelief across social media. Her chilling accounts detailed her experiences as a child victim at elite parties, forcing people to confront an unsettling reality. Now, Katt Williams appears ready to amplify these voices and stand by those seeking the truth. What seemed like mere conspiracy chatter is rapidly morphing into a full-blown investigation. Authorities are closing in, and the next announcement could rattle the entertainment industry like never before. The question on everyone's mind: are we ready for what's about to come to light? Before we get into the latest revelations from Katt, let's rewind and tackle a burning question. Who is Allie Carter, and why is her name lighting up every corner of social media right now?
And watching an episode called Pig Night, when I went, they tried to feed us. And I remember it because when you have to do orders, jobs like that, you don't eat. You're not allowed to eat. You actually have to starve yourself, because this is about to get a little bit dark. So if you got a faint stomach, or if you just can't be doing it right now, just go. Don't even try to. It's a lot. It's about to get a lot. So just here's your time. Exit. When you have to do those type of things, you can't eat because you will throw up. If you are a guy, he will. When this happens, your parents will get mad at you. And if that is a fetish for someone, they use that to their advantage. So if you throw up on someone, you will have to eat it. If you throw on someone, you'll have to lay in it. Have to stay in it. So when they tried to feed us, I already knew not to eat because I'm always told, like, at the end of a job, I was really happy if my pet would give me grapes because that was like a big thing of mine. I loved grapes when I was a teenager. I don't really love grapes that much now. They're still alright, but texture issues. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, so I knew, okay, don't eat, like, I don't know what this is for. I was told don't eat the food. Okay, fine. I thought it was because it was a different source of drugs. There's candy dishes in elite parties. There's always a candy dish. And the candy dishes I went to was always cocaine or ecstasy or weed or random things. Angel dust. Okay. They showed us a room. They kind of made us feel like we were taking a tour of the mansion. Then they showed us the animals. Then they took us to a rec room, like a playroom. You know, Playboy has contracts. Non-disclosure contracts. They're sometimes like, there are celebrities that are a constant visit. And when they're a constant visit, these celebrities have a contract with Playboy. Depending on what location they're at, either way it goes, but especially when they're a known celebrity, they have contracts. So it kind of keeps them safe. If there's a Playboy bunny that leaves, they're not allowed to tell who they had with, who was there, who was a frequent bunny, who was a member, or frequent John, and who was a member. You're not allowed to. Technically, when you work at the Playboy, when you work there, when you are on an intake and you work and you have a room at the Playboy, it is treated as if you have a contract, and you can't talk about those things. So for me, I didn't have that contract. I was brought in for a weekend, and when I found the episode of Pig Night, then I realized what was going on. And it took me, I have cried myself to sleep so many times this past week. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot. It's a lot to process.
If you haven't been paying attention, Allie Carter is the young woman at the center of shocking accusations that have the internet buzzing. Her claims point fingers at big names like Diddy, Denzel Washington, Oprah, and others. The allegations involve disturbing accounts of child trafficking and elite gatherings that, according to her, hide horrifying secrets. The first time many heard Allie's story, it was through an emotional video that quickly went viral. In the clip, she sits in a car, visibly distressed, with her mother beside her. Tears stream down her face as she recounts the horrific experiences she endured as a survivor of trafficking. She claims it all began during her time in foster care, a period she describes as the gateway to a much darker underworld.
About Diddy. Ally Carter has spoke out so much throughout the years and told us exactly how all of this is connected. The very first time she spoke out, she spoke about there being underground tunnels where she was moved through. And there have been a lot of rumors about Diddy allegedly having these underground tunnels that run to the Playboy Mansion. And the Playboy Mansion does have underground tunnels. Here is the blueprint of the Playboy Mansion that they made showing the underground tunnels underneath the mansion. And I blew this up a little bit more for you guys because back in the day, it actually led to celebrities' houses. Ally Carter has just made an affidavit of truth that she turned over to the feds against Diddy and other celebrities about how she was allegedly at a Playboy Mansion party. As you can see, here's Diddy's name here and others such as Birdman, Denzel Washington, and Young Jock. In this document, she speaks about how she was a party favor and how other children were there as party favors as well, and how they were set on a table and had to wait for people to come and choose them. She explained how once these people were done with what they were doing, and I have to watch what I say, but you guys get what I'm saying, they would be placed back on the table for someone else to choose them. She explains how these parties turned into a whole frenzy once the DJ started music and turned on the flashing lights. And then she explains how there was things at this party called body cakes, and it means that these would be on the table and people would put food on them and then they would eat off them. Y'all, I just seen a footage of Diddy doing this at a white party that he held back in the 2000s. She explains in this affidavit that they would bring in animals like donkeys and burros, and they had to have physical relationships with them as these people watched, and her and another girl ended up throwing up and they rubbed their faces in it as punishment. Ally Carter also told us that she had physical evidence against Diddy and some of these other celebrities, and she took a picture of this, also showing proof that she turned in physical evidence.
I was at a Diddy party. I was one of the party favors. But I told you, nobody tells on Diddy. Maria Z, I did that interview in 2021, 7 months ago. We made sure, I already knew, that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested. I already knew that 7-8 months ago. We went and made sure there were sworn documents. We have them. When we went to Colorado for the A to Z event, we had a lot of legal evidence that we made sure we already had because we knew a list of people were about to get got. You can't run for that long. I'm just shocked we're finally seeing the day. Do you understand that their music is their diary? All these rappers, they're telling you what they did. The music, it's telling you what they did. The comedy and the art is a reflection of life. I got a reflection of life for you.
Let's be clear. You federal prosecutors, you have video surveillance from Diddy's house from 2008. Look in that 2008-2010 span, you'll find her video there. You want to send it over? She'll say, yeah, that's me.
Ally Carter also made a video just recently speaking a little bit about the Diddy party. So I'm about to roll y'all this clip and you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Diddy parties. Those are parties. And I was one of the kids that was one of the party favors. And a party favors means that you're set on top of a table and you're used as a toy for anybody who comes across the table or who wants to party at a certain time of night when the music stops and then the DJ starts flashing all these lights and they close the doors and then everybody turns into like a frenzy and starts going into a crazed animal-like demonic state and you have no idea what's going on. And yes, there was a time where I was just like completely don't give a shit because it happened, and I was the type of kid that thought that, you know, you're in the presence of royalty and they make it seem like you're in the presence of Hollywood, so you should be.
What makes her story even more chilling is the level of detail she provides. Ally describes being locked in shipping containers alongside other children, some sick, some unable to speak English, and some who were barely holding on to life. She paints a haunting picture, even mentioning babies as young as 6 years old trapped in this nightmare. Her testimony becomes even more alarming when she talks about tunnels, hidden pathways beneath the surface that she says were used to transport victims out of sight. Ally expresses fear that those hotlines meant to protect victims are, in reality, gathering information to silence them. She worries that survivors reaching out for help could actually be putting themselves in greater danger.
These houses, really nice houses. Before we were told to go to a room, we were in the living room, and I was sitting with Akon, and my friend was sitting with his friend, who was from Dubai. They still didn't do a test or do a sample that they could do. So his friend fisted my friend. He beat her. She fought him, and it made things worse. You're not allowed to help. You're not allowed to, you're not allowed to flinch. You're not allowed to get angry. So I didn't help her. And I'm really sorry. And she got hurt. She bled a lot, and she got really sick. And I didn't get to see her anymore after that. So I didn't cry. I didn't get mad with Akon. I didn't get mad at all. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't asking him to let me go. I didn't get mad at him. I did what he said. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't brutal. It wasn't bad. He didn't hurt me. As you know, he didn't hurt me.
Everybody knew that Snoop Dogg, mentioned him in December of 2020, but everybody beat the hell out of me. Screw you, that can't be true. What the hell do I know, right? And then recently it just came out again that Snoop Dogg got accused of and what did everybody do? Ooh, Snoop Dogg is at the halftime. I'm going to the halftime. But we canceled Dr. Seuss. And Jemima. Nobody mad. Nobody. Super Bowl habits. They were dripping down from the letters. The LVI. I know, but then that's fine. Let's go to the game. Make some hot wings. It's fine. It'll pass, right? It's a phase. It's just a phase. But oh no, tell somebody that plastic straws are coming back and throw a fit. Let a convict get arrested. Somebody put a knee on a convict's neck and it's over. Neck of a child. Crickets. Crickets. Nothing. Everything's fine.
But I know you guys have seen this picture. There's a picture of a baby. They got a picture of a bunch of kids tagged to a wall. It's actually an option. They're tied to a wall and they're hanging on the wall. That's another form of an option. Some options are very pretty. Some you get to stand. Some you got to. I've had some really weird options. Flyers come through wherever you're at. Okay, there's a white kid, there's a black kid, there's a black kid, there's an Indian kid, there's a girl, there's a guy. They check everything. They have a taste. They walk into a room and they have basically like how you have, if you walk into a car lot and you're like, can I turn on the car? Can I sit in the car? Can I open the door? That's literally what's going on in an option.
This is sick.
For children. We'll bring in a child to walk through that, to play in it, to lay in it, to put on their body. This happens on baby farms too. You understand that, right? Where they're holding babies, newborn babies, fresh out of the hospital babies.
This person commented, "The world is so evil, it's impossible to be truly happy knowing that there is something like this going on somewhere." Another person writes, "She's been telling these stories for years. Imagine that courage and being ignored while it's still going on." She said, "I hate hearing about this, but it is so important." Another person writes, "Missing children, CPS had to be involved because these are the kids that know."
These claims come at a time when Diddy is already facing his own legal troubles, making her revelations all the more unsettling. Whether you believe every word or not, one thing is certain. Ally Carter's voice has gripped the internet and forced people to confront the darker corners of society that many would rather ignore. This story is still unfolding, and the world is watching closely.